Welcome to Flipping Houses for Rookies, the only podcast that shows you how to take back your financial freedom and live the American dream by becoming a real estate investor. Without the banks, without the big wigs, and without the realtor's nonsense. This isn't about selling you coaching or some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about opening your eyes to the possibilities so you can make real chunks of dough, buy your life back, and become a free American. With over 400 episodes aired, we're delivering everything you need to know to find deals, talk to sellers, structure deals, and win big. It's time to take action, change your mindset, and claim what's yours. Real estate is the key to your freedom, and we're here to show you the way. Subscribe now and catch our latest episodes on YouTube at Flipping Houses for Rookies, because your financial freedom starts today. Now, here are your hosts, Bill and Pete.
All right, here we are at yet another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Yay. Good morning, Peter.
Hello, Bill. And hey, everybody.
We are in podcast number 451 right now, and the title of today's podcast is How to Find Unique Time to Do Creative Real Estate Today. This is a topic. It's either time or money, right?
So did you say unique time?
Right.
Oh, okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I think I'll just listen and see what you say.
All right, here's
Just
the
go
description.
ahead.
Here is the description. You're working your tail off right now, aren't you? Grinding at the 9 to 5, maybe hustling a side gig, and still can't find those magical extra hours everyone keeps saying you need to build your real estate empire full of money now, money monthly, money later deals so you can retire early. In this raw, unfiltered 60-minute talk, you will get why you have been trapped in your paycheck prison. And it is totally not what you think. The truth, most aspiring creative real estate entrepreneurs are looking for time all in the wrong places. While you might be trying to squeeze real estate into your already packed schedule, today's concepts flip this idea of no time on its head. In fact, while you are reading this, thousands are listening, because most people are listening right now, thousands of everyday people just like you are quietly pulling off this. I call it my time bank robbery strategy. And walking away with 5 to 6 figure paydays that their spouses, family, friends, and bosses never see coming. Now, so you too can find out why you don't need more time to make serious money in this lucrative game. These simple ideas could change your life, so listen now. Do I have your attention, Peter?
I'm listening. I still want to see what you say about unique time. That sounds interesting. I'll let you explain it, though. I'm not guessing. I know I won't get it right, so you just go right ahead.
Okay, unique time, huh?
Yeah. I've never heard time called unique before, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's do our housekeeping first. So, first of all, thank you for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching us or listening to us. Make sure you like us. Subscribe and like us, and leave a review. If you leave a 5-star review, and take a snapshot of it and send it to flippinghouses4rookies@gmail.com. I'll send you a bunch of goodies. I'm not trying to bribe you. It's just, I feel like your time is valuable, just like mine is. and I'm willing to compensate you for that. Also, if you have any questions, you can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. You can send a support ticket, or just go to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com and send your question there. So basically what happens is we record this podcast Thursday mornings. We live stream it to two YouTube channels. One is Creative REI Reply, which is a software company we own, and the other is to Flipping Houses for Rookies. We also live stream it to Facebook or LinkedIn. So if you're on any one of those platforms, you could just go in there any Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and you can type in Flipping Houses for Rookies, and you'll find that we're live. And I would gladly answer any questions if you type where you can type in any one of those platforms about the podcast. But if it's not about the podcast, I suggest you go to either flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com or Flipping Houses for Rookies support. Okay, here we go. I'm glad that's out of the way. Mm-hmm. That's 5 minutes of my week I wish I didn't have to go through every week. All right. I apologize for my throat today. I've been doing this for a couple days. I'm not sure why. I have some allergies I'm dealing with. I have no idea what they are yet, but I have to go figure it out. All right, Pete, you ready?
Ready to go.
Imagine if all of our listeners realized today that their real estate dreams are being held hostage by the biggest lie of all ages.
Ooh.
You don't have enough time.
Hmm.
What if I also told you that everyone listening has wealth pockets of hidden time right now? There's your unique time, Mr. Coca-Cola. It's called a wealth pocket.
All right. Pockets, I get it.
It is rightfully yours once we unveil to everyone where these wealth pockets are actually hidden. And I have a hint for you. Mm-hmm. They're right under your nose. They're in plain sight.
Of course. How could you see it if it's right there? How could you find it if there's nothing to find? Of course.
Exactly. And
of course.
I promise you, this is not going to be a podcast about complicated time management like I've taught in the past.
Oh, good. We know that one. Good.
In fact, after watching coaching clients as much as I watch them, right, and how they do not use my time blocking Dan Kennedy methods, I had to change things up a bit. Or should I say, get to the bottom of the uncompleted weekly tasks to make breakthroughs.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And today, I'm going to share it all.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other place to go get it except here.
And we're ready.
And I have to tell you, this kind of stuff kind of pisses me off, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because I just wrote a book. Now I have to write another one to add all this stuff in there.
Of course.
Because as I evolve things and go through things and learn things and whatever, I want to add to the book. But the book is getting ready to be printed. Mm-hmm. So I won't be adding anything. All right, to continue. In fact, I plan to share how time is being stolen from you and how to use my time bank robbery strategy to turn things around so you can start getting those 5 to 6 figure paychecks. Mm-hmm. It is only two simple, but easy shifts in your mental mapping that has to change. That's what the rest of this podcast is going to be about.
Okay. 2 things.
Just 2 points.
All right.
Okay. So the first is an interesting but almost discouraging concept. So don't tune me out until you hear the second strategy for how to handle the first.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay? In other words, these 2 strategies or these 2 concepts go together like fish and water.
Mm.
Right? So I want to float a concept by everyone today that I think will clear things up a whole bunch.
Mm.
And I don't even know how. I mean, I know how I kind of got this idea, but I don't know how I got this idea. And it's kind of amazing. So obviously I read a lot, and I take the most obscure topics and I turn them into real estate. I mean, Peter, I could be watching a movie and I'll hear a sentence and it will trigger something. It's just incredible.
That's true.
I don't know. I know everybody does it. It's not just me. But when you're tuned in on a topic, and you think about it all the time, even when you're relaxed, things happen.
Sure, things come in. A lot of the great artworks or songs are inspired by newspaper, a sign, a poster, a thing, whatever. Sure, why not?
All right, so. So I want to use these 3 points, which I'm going to cover in a minute, to define how good do you need to be to make 5 to 6 figure paychecks in creative real estate. So that's the question. How good do I need to be? And to my knowledge, Peter, and I'm bragging on myself, but it's not really that way. It may sound that way, but just to prove my point, has nothing to do with me other than I'm uttering the words right now. I don't think anybody's broke it down to like where you need to be to actually start making money. How good do you need to be? How much time do you need to study? How much materials do you need to absorb? How many videos and how many books and how many courses do you need to take to actually make 5 to 6 figure paychecks? And I've spent, I don't know how much I've spent. I stopped counting 10 years ago at $150,000, and I still buy shit. I mean, I'm ashamed to say this, but last week I just bought a course that was almost $800. And I really shouldn't have spent the money. I mean, it's not part of my financial plan. It was not part of what I was doing, and it kind of affects my cash flow a bit, right?
Sure.
But I get lots of things from them. I constantly spend money on stuff like that. It's weird, but I do it, right?
Sure.
All right, so 3 levels. These 3 levels are the levels of skill. I'm going to measure skill, which nobody's done before.
Wow.
I'm going to measure skill, so that from this point forward, you can look at what you're doing. So I will admit I didn't think of this until just now, but Benjamin Hardy wrote Who, Not How. And then he read, which I only read half of it. I should finish reading it because I was so blown out by it I didn't finish it. But The Future You.
Yeah.
In both of those books, one of the main points that they push on hard is how you measure yourself. If you look forward and you're constantly looking forward at your goals and you're trying to measure yourself based on your goals, like do I have my goals or don't I have my goals?
Yeah.
They claim, which I know because that's what I've done for 40 years and multiple businesses, and I have literally killed, like buried, put in coffins, in the ground employees, like killed them, like figuratively, like they couldn't take it anymore, and they just boom, they're gone. They just don't show up one day.
Wow.
And I couldn't figure out what the hell's the matter with these people until I read these books, and then I realized, oh, it was me. No shit.
Oh. And
the reason why is because I always looked at my goals, and what Benjamin says, he's a ghost writer or a writer for Dan Sullivan, and Dan Sullivan is part of strategic coaching, which I started the program, but I never did it. Dan Sullivan is an amazing author. And he says either, I don't know if it was Dan or Benjamin, but he says that a goal is like watching the horizon, like you're on the water in a boat and you never get there. It is what they call a moving target.
That makes sense.
Now goals are good because you got to point the bow of the ship and you need to get somewhere. So it's good to do that. But what they suggest in both these books, and they reiterate it several times in both these books, is every once in a while to measure yourself, you have to stop and turn around and look behind you.
Right.
Look at where you have come from and where you're going. So the journey of where you're going is a moving target, and it's always going to be that way. Right? I can't tell you how many times I have been berated by my wife. Like, oh my God, I just made $150,000 on a house. I don't even talk about it anymore. I don't even tell people how much money I make because I think, oh man, how can I do that again?
Yeah.
How could I make 200,000?
Yeah, you go, gee, it's only 150. I know you.
Yeah.
It was only. I was at the lawyer's office with him 2 weeks ago. He's looking like, oh, I could have made more. Gee. Yeah.
I'm trying to grind my closing costs so I could pick up an extra $3,000.
Yep.
Right? Wasn't that gross though, Peter? At the end, it cost me $71,000 to sell a $300,000 house.
71. Ow.
$71,000 when I got done.
Eek.
And that was with my closing cost and my capital gains tax.
Yeah.
Closing costs alone were $31,000. Right? So these are the numbers this is why I spout these numbers, right? And I sold it for cash, which I did want to do, but I have a couple problem properties that I'm just, my goal for this year is to eliminate. That's my goal, is to eliminate.
Yep.
And I've been doing that. I've been eliminating crap that I don't want in my life. All right, back to the podcast because we're not here talking about Bill's therapy session, right? All right, here are the three things. You ready, Peter?
Ready to go?
I think you're sure. I think you probably are. Number one is competence. Number two is mastery. I'm going to explain all these. And number three is virtuosity. Okay, so I'm not going to elaborate on this unless you allow me to in a little while, because I will go off on a tangent on these like you wouldn't believe. But if you think about it, it is this formula that I talk about all the time. So the words are, number one is competence, mastery, and virtuosity. It is actually quantity, quality, and viability. Now, here we go. We're going to get right into it now. And I'm glad because we're only 20 minutes in and I have lots of time to explain this.
Okay, sounds good.
So the definition of competence is the ability to do something successful or efficiently. So tell me what that means to you when I say that.
Well, you're able to do something. Doesn't mean you're the best in the world, but competent. So you can do it. You're able to do it. It works. It's there. How great or how ungreat is one thing, but you did it. Good for you.
Right. Good. So we're going to cover this when we get into step 2. Because I have a really bright idea on how you could do this.
Oh.
So, definition of mastery is comprehensive knowledge or skill in a subject or accomplishment. This is having control or superiority over someone or something. So is it possible you could be a master at talking to sellers and not make any money?
It doesn't seem like that should happen.
I didn't ask that question. I asked, is it possible you could be a master at talking to sellers and not make any money?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you said talking. Sure, talking is one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Suppose you have a master doing the paperwork or doing the closing or knowing the steps, or suppose you were a master at acquiring property, but you completely sucked at selling property.
Mm.
Right. So that's why I defined it that way. It's like a comprehensive knowledge or skill in a subject or accomplishment.
So it's comprehensive, meaning it covers everything you need for the accomplishment, the final.
Or the whole subject. It could be one or the other.
Yeah.
It could be the
subject. It's the whole thing is the point.
Right. So it could be a subject like I'm a master of creative real estate because I can cover any aspect you want to cover.
Right.
Where you could be a master at talking to sellers, but not the rest of it.
That's true. So comprehensive covers everything, the whole subject, and accomplishing means you finished. To me, you finished. You didn't just do 2-3 steps. You got to the end where you need to get, wrap it up, get the check.
Right. So this is when I talk about wisdom. So one of my sayings is, I know for sure my listeners right now, almost every one of them, like 90-something percentile, of them 93, 95, 98, pick a number, are overloaded with knowledge and starving for wisdom. This is the reason why, is because they're not at the mastery level. And wisdom means skill or knowledge that's applied, right?
Yeah. Well, you usually mention experience too when you have the experience with it. So you have that comprehensive viewpoint to see the whole picture, so you can get the job done.
Right.
I like that when you say it like that. It makes I can see it in you. You have the knowledge, but you have years of experience, and you've seen so much. You just know a lot. I'm like that in my other field, but that's something else. Yeah, that's something else.
Which is where this virtuosity thing comes from, right? Because the definition of virtuosity, this is actually used mostly in the arts, like music and writing, but perfectly fits here. A virtuoso, which is a person that has virtuosity, is someone who is extremely good at something. It means having great technical skill, mostly from practicing. Right? It derives from, in other words, the word comes from, the root of the word is defined as having good taste for or interest in virtue. And virtue means to exercise, to exercise often inherited in the fine arts. So virtual means that you kind of inherited something, you're just naturally good at it, and you're just and you've mastered it. Right? Okay, so we need to clear up right now. So we got what virtuosity is, right? You're like a master at it. It's like you're that person that could sit down at any instrument and play it anytime you want. I'm horrible with names, Peter. You and I just watched a video. I think you watched it. Who was the guy that we just watched? Clark was his name. What was his name?
What was the video about?
Music. The guy that, what was his name? Clark? Oh my God.
Well, I don't remember the video. What was it about?
Music.
Oh, it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I didn't watch it with you.
We watched it down in New Haven. You know, who's the famous?
Oh no, I know what you mean. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Stanley Clark. Yeah, you're right. Stanley Clark, the bass player. Right.
Right.
Famous Stanley Clark, jazz.
He's a virtuoso. Who's the other one?
Well, Chick Corea used to play with him as a keyboard player.
As another virtuoso.
Yeah. You're talking jazz. Grammys, awards. Yeah, right? Big.
They're not playing music. They're creating music.
Yeah, it's
a whole different art form, right? It's not about the instruments. It's about what they can do with the instruments. How far could they push them?
You know, it's another interesting aspect to it, and it completely relates to real estate. You don't have to think about it.
Right.
Because I know, I watch you talk to people, you go, oh, well, why don't we do that? You don't have to sit there very long or at all, like, what, we should just do that.
Right.
In a few minutes, you go, oh, boom. And it's not like, what did I read in a book somewhere, and what did somebody say? You're not scratching your head. You just have the data, no thinking, and bang, the answers come, the music comes, the solutions come.
Okay, now, that's all very good, which brings me right into what I want to talk about. This is the heartbeat of this podcast.
Okay.
I have just codified your skill levels.
Mm-hmm.
I have just given you a roadmap of how this works, and I'm going to show you what I mean right now, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to clear up right now is these are in sequence. Step 1, step 2, step 3. You're not getting to step 2, mastery, without doing step 1.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get a little competent, the other 2 come only with practice or doing the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, here's something that I'm going to try to explain that I hope I do a good job with, because these are vague conversations in most people's heads. Okay? So, let's say you're brand new today. I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but no, let's not say that. Let's say you have made some phone calls and you are using a script, like our virtual assistant.
Sure.
So, there's a level of competence of I can read the script.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's a level of competence that, yes, I can read the script.
Yeah, you can't just read it. You got to get used to it. So it doesn't happen the first time.
No. So my point is this. Yes, you got to get used to it. That's a level of competence, like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the seller's answers, and they knock you off the script.
Right.
That's another level of competence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the point. You don't need to master all of everything and be competent on everything to become a master. So what happens is you might be good enough to get a memorandum signed or an option agreement signed, and you're competent in that part, where you're going to want to move on to the mastery level. And here's what happens. The more repetition you do, sooner or later you will start to notice little things, very little things, like a sentence that I give you guys all the time, like, what would have to happen for me to buy your house today? Or, oh, okay, so you owe $150,000. Let me ask you this question. Would you sell it for what you owe on it? Oh, no? Okay, so how much did you want?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been giving all of these to you guys for 450 podcasts. Those are mastery level ideas. Those are coming because you've repetitiously gotten the basics in. So this is kind of like competency is like grammar school, and mastery is like high school, and virtuoso is like college, right? So you know how to read, you know how to do math, but each one gets a steeper and steeper gradient. The more you cover it, the more you use it. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to be a master to make your first phone call.
No, you couldn't be. You couldn't be.
Right? Now, watch this.
Mm-hmm.
I would not like to attain... I would not like to attach time to this. I was doing this, and this is what took me a while. It took me a week to write this podcast, mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a few hours to write it once I mentally got it mapped out in my mind. And here was my barrier.
Yeah.
Because there's a theory that these types of levels, like a competence might take 1,000 hours, and mastering might take 5,000 hours, and virtuoso might take 25,000 hours.
Sure.
Right? These are different ideas that are in the world. And I'm thinking, I don't know about that.
No, you can't do that. There's a whole book on that, Outliers. It gives you, if you do this, 5,000, you're professional. 10,000, you're the Beatles. You can't. But the point is, you can't just expect to snap your fingers either. But I don't think you can just say everybody fits in that bucket.
Well, based on the virtuoso thing, or the virtual thing, you have this inherent ability. Like our friend Steve, his son Tim, right? I'll never forget the first time I went to their house, and he was like, I don't know, 11 years old, 12 years old. And he said, my friend Steve says, watch this, Bill. And he sits down at the piano, and I thought it was Beethoven. I'm like, when did he learn how to play the piano? He says he's been working on it for about 10 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, the kid's got some talent. Yep.
So this is why I don't want to touch time to it.
Right.
So here is my idea.
Okay.
I would like for our listeners, even you at this point, to head off to an office supply store. Staples. What are some of the other ones?
Office Max, if you have it.
Office Max. Yeah, any supply store, even an art store. Like I was last week. I was down at Yale.
Oh.
I was at the Apple store, and I decided to go next door into the Yale store. There's a store because we live in New Haven. We live right outside of New Haven, right? Connecticut. So I went into the Yale store. Fascinating store. Fascinating. It's a Barnes and Noble, but they have so many art supplies and so many creative type things. I promised myself that I will go back there occasionally, like a couple times, 2 or 3 times a year. It was just fascinating. Just to see the way they had the store laid out, because they were catering to artists. Right. All right. So you can go to one of those stores too. And what I want you to do is I want you to get a piece of poster board. It's like cardboard. I bet you won't spend more than $3 to $5 for this piece of cardboard. It's like a poster.
Yeah, poster board.
It's the size of a poster board. Yeah. Here's what I want you to do. Now, I'm old-fashioned, so some of you won't listen to me, and it's a mistake. But I understand that, I'm old-fashioned, so I'm going to just leave it at that. I want this poster board to hang on the wall. And what I want you to do is I want you to divide this poster board up into 100 squares. So it'll be 10 across and 10 top to bottom. So 10 left to right and 10 top to bottom, right? So I would just measure the poster board, and I would divide that number by 10. So they're inch or inch and a half or 2 inch, whatever the squares are, and do the same thing across.
Right.
So you could do this on a computer, but the problem is, as Peter so eloquently lets me know many times.
Yeah, eloquently. Yeah. What? I don't even know what it is. What?
Well, you're polite about it. I can't find shit. It's hidden. I don't know where it went, Bill.
Bill, I sent myself a Google sheet form the other day, and it wasn't there. Son of a... my student goes, son of a biscuit. One of my students, son of a biscuit. Yeah.
All right, so that's why I don't want you
I get most things, but all it takes is 1 or 2 things, and you know as well as I do, it's God, where is that thing?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the problem with computers is things disappear. So I prefer it to be on the wall. It'd be more effective. I prefer it to be someplace where you are a lot, like an office or by your computer. Some people, I like for them to tape it right on the television so they can't watch TV.
I get in trouble on that one.
That's being sarcastic. So anyway, here's what I want you to do. Each time you call a seller, you actually speak to them. When I say call a seller, you actually speak to them. I'm talking about a 2-way communication. You say hello, they say hello back.
Yeah.
2-way conversation. And if that's all you say is hello, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
When you first start. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. And once you do this two-way conversation, they pick up the phone and they answer, and you have a conversation. This is not a text conversation. This is not an email. This is a communication where two people hear the other person's voice, ideas, and thoughts, and they return with their ideas and thoughts. Okay? You put in your next, now you could be going left to right, top to bottom, so you could start with number 1, and you could number them if you want. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, left to right, or you can start with top to bottom. The first row is 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to the bottom, and then you do the next column. I don't care how you do it. But you pick the next box that you're going to use. You're going to put the person's name in there, the property address, and their phone number. Okay.
Sure.
Now, don't get your panties in a your panties in a knot right now. Okay. I still have to cover step 2, which is how you're going to find time to do this. So realize that first. But I'm actually tricking you a little bit, Peter. I hope you do this. I really hope you do this. Because I'm tricking you a little bit here. Because number 1, you're gonna measure. It's a statistical, subconscious. I haven't done that in a while. I got to call somebody. It's an emotional tug on you.
Sure.
But more importantly, and I don't want to elaborate on this because I want some people to do it and I want feedback.
Sure.
More importantly, you're going to look at that board and say, I wonder what happened to John Jones.
Yeah.
I wonder if he sold his house. It will trigger thoughts or past experiences in your mind, and you might even call that guy again and put him in another box 10 boxes later.
Oh, you can put, every time you call him, you can put him in a box?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Which is also going to show you how many times you need to talk to somebody. That
part is actually very interesting.
Yeah.
Because, it gives you credit for persistence.
Right.
And that's important too sometimes. You can't talk to somebody once. I mean, you don't ask a girl for the date and give up when she says no.
Right. So, I don't know why I put this in the podcast right now, but I don't want you to worry about what steps you're going to take. What you're even going to say. I just came out, as I talked about earlier, my new book is called Leads, Deals, Cash. Creative Real Estate Manual. In the book, there's 6 stages of skill level. Now, this is in 2 podcasts. I talk about it in 1 podcast. I think the first time I revealed it was podcast number 446, and it was called New Certified Creative Real Estate Entrepreneur Education. And we covered the 6 stages and how it works. So I'm not going to do that today, but this is how you're going to know where to go. This is your blueprint to doing deals.
Yep.
All right. So here's what I want to talk about now. Competency. So is it fair to say that the first level of competency is you went to the Office Max store and got the cardboard and made the 100 boxes?
That would count.
That would be a level of competency. The next level of competency would be I made a phone call. Right? Now, I don't care what you say on the phone call. You're not trying to buy a house yet. You're just trying to confront talking to a stranger about their house. It could be as simple as, I listen to this podcast all the time, and they're telling me I got to call people, so I noticed your house was on Zillow. Can you talk to me for a couple minutes? I might be interested in buying it.
Sure.
I don't care what you talk about. The first level of competency is, now let's go back to that definition. You remember it?
No. I can make it up. But you had two good words in it that I want you to say again because I liked them.
So, definition of competency is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently.
Okay.
So confronting calling a person that you don't know is a successful action.
Yeah.
We don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about that win. We don't talk about how you do that. And of course, if you're going to, and I'm going to say this in a couple minutes, but all you need to do is go on Zillow, type in your zip code in your wherever you live or wherever you want to do business. You started off, ironically, it turned out to be our whole business later on. But you started off, well, you go ahead, you talk about it when you first made your first few phone calls. It's better if you tell the story because it's your story.
Well, I after just a little weekend of training at a real estate seminar, I contacted you just for some advice. And I started, the big deal was getting tax rolls and sending letters and all that. But I needed to practice because I've been on the phone. Christ, I tried to sell frozen meat once. Talk about a job that sucks. Anyway, I would just call people with houses for sale, like for sale by owner, and just do whatever I could figure out for a script. I didn't even know if I had a script. I would just talk to them. And I think within 3 or 4 days, I had an appointment, and you were shocked.
Right. So the point that I wanted you to talk about, you missed. So you said, I'm going to call for sale by owners.
Yeah. I was just going to practice.
Practice with for sale by owners.
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like,
because I'm like, for sale by owners, they're a waste of time. So you're like, I'm going to practice on for sale by owners because this way here, I don't have to think that I'm losing a deal because I'm just practicing.
Yeah.
And then within a week, we were actually in a house.
Yeah, and you're looking like, wow, this is a nice house. Yeah, of course we didn't buy it, but like, who cares? I was in one. I was like, I'm in business. I can do this. But you have to appreciate what a success that is in the first week, just to get out there and start instead of thinking about it, reading about it, talking about it, not talking about it, do something.
Right. So. I'm going to move into step number 2, which is the time part of it. But before I do that, I want you to reveal how long that first conversation was.
Oh, geez, less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes, I was going to say, yeah. All right. So now, the first phone call you confronted, you got some competence, some ability, some skill. And now what's going to happen from this point forward, every single phone call, you're going to be working on your efficiency. How can I do it better? How can I do it cleaner? Let me go look up the word efficiency. Right? How could you do it smoother? Oh, isn't that nice? I love dictionaries. The state efficiency, the state or quality of being efficient.
Being efficient, yeah, good. Yeah. Well, I'll go to efficient.
We'll talk about a freaking merry-go-round, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I like this definition. I wish I looked this up earlier. So efficient is working in a well-organized and competent way.
Huh.
So the first phone call you're going to make, I'm so glad I called. Oh my God, I actually spoke to somebody. 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, you're going to get out of your head that there's no leads and you don't know who to talk to because it's going to force you to find somebody to call, which you just do on Zillow or Marketplace. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute, right? Facebook Marketplace, right? But you actually spoke to somebody. You figured out how to find somebody to talk to. Right? From that point forward, you're going to constantly figure out how can I organize myself so I can do this more practical.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point, your competence is all going to be about efficiency.
Yeah, I think you get more done with less time. Like what works, what doesn't work. But you know what else I think for some people is going to happen? They're going to find out that people aren't mad that you called them. Like, seriously, I shouldn't have to say that. Like, dude, the house is for sale. They're hoping you call. Like, oh, I don't know if I should bother them. I don't know. They want to sell the house.
So here's what's going to happen. You're going to get over the first part of it is the barrier to actually calling somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to want to get efficient, and that's where your skill level is going to change, is on the efficiency portion of it. Once you get past the confront. Because I promise you, after you make 5 phone calls, no more than 10 phone calls, it's old hat to you. You will only need to do every cycle, every new thing that you don't want to confront 5 to 10 times and be uncomfortable.
Huh.
It's usually 5. It's 3 to 5 times, I find. For me, it's a couple times, but 3 to 5 times you do something you're uncomfortable with, and all of a sudden you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's all in your head.
Right? Now, when you call seller number 2, you're going to be better than you were with seller 1. And seller 5 is going to be better than seller 4. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, as well as I sit here and as well as I can breathe and see and hear as a human being, I promise you with all of my might that if you do this 100 times and fill that board, you will find multiple deals. You will find a seller that is motivated and will let you get at least some part of a deal done so you can learn parts and parts and parts.
Mm-hmm.
Pieces and parts.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So the word comes to mind, brick and brack. So you can learn all the brick and brack, all the pieces and the parts of it, right? Mm-hmm. All right, that's a English term. All right, so it's going to take you 100 calls thereabouts to get through this competency. Then you're going to have some patterns and systems to use, and you're going to be working through those because you designed them as you went through the 100 calls to be more and more efficient. Because remember, it's competency and efficiency. So once you start getting a routine, you'll start working on the efficiency part. And you'll hear me say a sentence, or you'll hear somebody else, or you're reading a book, or you get an idea, and it will get more and more efficient. Oh, instead of telling, like for example, here's an example. Try to explain to somebody what subject to is.
Oh, sure.
Well, you put the deed in our name, and then we make the payment, and then you just create a whole bunch of objections and spend a half an hour trying to convince the seller that this is the safest thing that they could do with their property.
Yeah, they just didn't give you your house.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did that hundreds of times, probably thousands, a lot of times, until I finally got efficient with it and said, because I was reading a book or on a coaching call, or I don't know where it came from, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, we could buy your house. Here's how it works. We're going to take your deed and put it into a trust, a property trust, and we're going to manage that trust and make payments out of that trust for you. Completely explain subject to.
And it sounds so much safer, though. It sounds so much safer.
But it took me hundreds of phone calls to learn how to say that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And to get me into a mastery on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me see here. Mastery might take you 300 to 500 phone calls. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have a number yet. I have to work with some people to find out. But because here's what you should do. Once you're done filling your 100 boxes, you leave it on the wall. You go get another piece of cardboard and put over the top of it another 100. Right? Until you make mastery. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll be doing deals along the way. So it's not like you need to, you should stop thinking I'm going to make a deal my first phone call. Right? Now, if you listen to podcast number 448, which is how to get paid to learn extraordinary real estate deals, guaranteed, I talk about it there. So 446 and 448 are about the stages and where you should make money and where how to make money in each deal.
Sure.
Right. So, and how to do it without risk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, I created decades ago the 7 deal strategy so we can make an offer no matter what the seller says.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's on Flipping Houses for Rookies. I believe the 6 stages overpowers that by 1,000 times. That concept of what you should do first, what you should do second, it's an absolute complete roadmap of how which deal you should do first, which deals it's
Bill, I have a bad analogy. The 7 strategies are an elephant. The 6 stages are how you're going to eat it.
Right.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I lost my train of thought. It's you can earn while you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my book is all about. It's how you earn while you learn. You should not pay somebody $30,000 for coaching. My book will do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, now it's time to talk about the bank robbery.
The time,
bank robbery strategy.
Okay.
Okay. So first, let's take a look at attacking. Let's take a look at what's attacking or assaulting your time,
Mm-hmm.
and how we can readjust so you can find 30 to 60 minutes, 5 days a week, to fill your poster board up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, you could make 2 phone calls, you could talk to 2 people in 30 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between your intention or your focus will make a difference on how long this takes you, because some people will do this in a month or 2.
Oh, sure.
Some people will take a year or 2. Some I've spoken to have done this for decades,
That's
decade
sad.
or 2, right? So let's talk about what Dan Kennedy calls time vampires. These are my time vampires. What's taking your time away from you?
Yep.
Right? So these are ways that you can find a 30-minute or 60-minute segment. These are your wealth buckets of time.
Yep.
Right? So number 1, I have 6 of them. Right? Number 1, cut down your time on email. Right? Emails are really what others want you to do. They're not what you need to do or what you have to do to make your life better. In most cases, I get emails from my insurance company. I need this. I get email from my attorney. I need this. I get emails from my partners. It's all what other people need or want me to do.
Sure.
I used to keep my emails under 50, and I get 150 to 200 emails sometimes. I looked at it this morning. I just hit 4,000 emails that I have read. I used to organize them. I used to spend an hour a day doing it. I don't do it anymore. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to go in there and I'm going to highlight all my emails and put them into a file and say old emails. And then try to manage it that way, right? So I don't spend the time with the emails. I spend, and you know this because, anyways. Number 2. So you could pick up time just by being efficient with your emails, and not spending an hour or 2 a day, whatever you spend, answering emails. Number 2, the same as with text, chatting with your friends, right? What I do, and this is annoying for people that are trying to contact me, right? I answer all of my texts the same time each day, or different times each day. Like Monday I do it one time, Tuesday I do it another time, right? Now, there are certain people that when they text me, I will respond right away, like you're one of them, right? I have text on my computer, and I'm at my computer most of the day. So when I see something pop up, I immediately decide in 2 seconds or a half a second, a nanosecond, whether I should respond or not. The only way I respond to my text is if they're forwarding my goals. Everything else waits until I have a text time. You could pick up 30 to 60 minutes a day by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Phone calls is another thing. Try calling me. How many times do I pick up? Sometimes, like I had a friend, Noelle, try calling me the other day. She called me at least 3 or 4 times. And you know what? I had no idea she was calling me because my phone was upstairs in my living room and I was in my office building a website. I had no idea she called me.
You actually put your phone away when you have something important. I was working yesterday. I was making phone calls, and my phone kept dinging every 5 minutes. And like, stop bothering me. And I was going to shut it off, but I was waiting for a real estate call, and I had to leave it on. But that's annoying. Just like, get rid of that. We didn't have this aggravation 10 years ago. We didn't.
Insane. Phones are insane. So what you do is you isolate a time, half an hour, and you return all your calls. I will tell you that what I do, which is good or bad, I don't know. I lately have a new habit.
Yeah?
Yeah. I took my grandkids out on Sunday, which reminded me after the podcast, my grandson did a homework assignment about being with Grandpa on Sunday. It was amazing.
Oh, no kidding.
It's the second time he's done it.
Ah.
And, yeah. So, I left the house on Sunday. Last night I had to go down to the church. It's the first time I had been out of the house since Sunday.
Whoa.
That's my new habit. And sometimes I'll go out to get the mail.
Yeah.
And just see what it's outside. Sometimes I don't even go out and cook out in the grill anymore. I just don't want to be outside for whatever reason. My point is this. I do a lot of my calls when I'm in the car. I'll save calls. I'll have a cigar. I'll be driving somewhere, and I'll make my callbacks in the car.
Yeah, those are simple. You don't have to be at your computer doing work. It's just conversational. Yeah, I've been with you and you're doing that. Folks, I'm with him in the car. I can't talk to him. He's on the phone talking to everybody else, and I'm sitting there smoking a cigar with him.
There you go. All right, so here's another one. Your morning routine.
Uh-huh.
Too many people fool around trying to get ready for their day. If you change this one thing by streaming your routine to getting out of bed, doing your bathroom stuff, and getting dressed and into action, you'll save, like my wife, she'll save an hour and a half a day.
Mm-hmm.
She'll lay in bed, she'll text, she'll watch TV. She's getting ready to go to work. And then at 10 minutes to 9, because she has to be to work at 9, at 10 minutes to 9, she'll get up and run around. Oh my God, I gotta get up. And God forbid you're in her way, it becomes a fiasco. I love my wife dearly, but this happens almost every day. There are books written on people that get up early and start early. They say that most millionaires start early in the morning.
And they have a routine.
Yeah.
They do this, they do that, they do this, but boom, bang, and they go.
So these points so far are assaulting your time, and you don't even know this. You have these wealth pockets in your life, and you don't even know it. Number 5, this is huge. I've learned this from my oldest daughter.
Really?
I've been let down by her multiple times. I've been let down by her because of this. Learning to say no.
Oh.
Imagine all the time you waste doing what others want you to do. Forwarding their goals, not yours. So, for example, I'll say, Jess, it's Monday morning. I want to take the kids on Sunday for breakfast. Okay, Dad, no problem. And then on Friday, she forgot, oh my God, I forgot that I told my other in-laws that they could take the kids. I got to call my dad and I got to cancel.
Oh.
Because she doesn't say no. And I love her to death.
Because she doesn't say no. I got it.
She doesn't say no. Because she's like, no, they can't come because... And I tell her all the time, she's a millennial. I'm like, why don't you just put everything on your calendar on your phone? And for some reason, she can't develop that habit. Right? How about exercise? Number 5 or number 6. How about exercise?
Yeah.
Most use routines and take longer to get products. You don't need 60 to 90 minutes to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the right exercises, I exercise for 10 or 15 minutes in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
This week I haven't, but for most part, I exercise 10 or 15 minutes because I had the right routine. I do it. I have an exercise machine in my room that I folded up, and I use a chair now because I'm doing yoga.
Yeah.
Right? You can exercise. I saw on YouTube the other day, like you could just use a chair and do push-ups and sit-ups, and it's 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to exercise for 60 or 90 minutes. Okay? Now, Peter, I'm going to say this because I know we're winding down here, and I got a couple more things to say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to drop this hint here.
Uh-huh.
I have so much attention on this, so much attention on it, that it is almost obsessive in my mind.
Really?
It is a huge, obsessive problem in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot get away from it.
What is it?
Most people I'm talking to right now are drifters.
Mm.
They're drifting through life. And I got this out of the book called Outwitting the Devil, written by Napoleon Hill.
I just found it. I stopped reading. I started reading it again today. Yeah.
It is incredible because drifting means that you don't have goals, you don't have plans, and you're not breaking them down.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother topic. All right, so I think I've hit my mark today, except now I plan to drop the atom bomb.
Oops.
And let you know why most don't accomplish their goals.
Mm.
And I just alluded to it a minute ago.
Mm.
Everyone, and I mean everyone on planet Earth, every human being on planet Earth somehow, some way has extra time each week. They have some downtime.
Mm.
I personally, because of this drifter thing, I pay attention to, are they just going to drift? Like my wife's a drifter.
Yeah.
You got some extra time. My wife could take a 10-minute task and turn it into 90 minutes without even trying. And I'm not being critical of her or nothing. It's just an observation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To get ready to go out, it'll take her 90 minutes. And she'll tell me, I'm coming down. She's up in her room. We have a cape, and she's up in her room, right? I'm coming down. And I've learned that, go ahead and get in the car. I'll be down in a minute. No. Because her minute is 30. Right?
Yep.
So what do you do with your extra time? So the big question everyone should ask themselves almost daily is, what do I do with my downtime? Could I make a 15-minute phone call to a seller?
Mm-hmm.
That's unique time if I ever saw it. That's a bucket of wealth time that you're giving up $5,000, $10,000. Could you put an extra name in the box? Now, I'll have you know that I'm being insidious here, which means I'm trying to get you to do something without telling you what I'm doing. I'm being covertly secret. Because what I'm trying to do by getting you to put the 100 boxes up there is to change from being a drifter to having a goal of getting 100 names on that box. At least it gives you a goal so that you can work through your competency and your mastery and your virtuosity. Because if you don't set that goal, nobody else will do it for you. Nobody can tell you what to do with your time.
No, but they'll take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So how many times could you spend 15 or 20 minutes calling a seller just to say hello? And then the next one, you'll be more efficient. You'll say, hello, can I talk to you about your house? And then the next one is, hello, can I talk to you about your house? Is it for sale? And then the next phone call is, hello, can I talk to you about your house? Is it for sale? How much are you asking?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And then the
Sure.
next phone call is, hello, can I talk to you about your house? Do you have time? Is it for sale? How much are you asking? And then the next question could be as simple as, how soon did you want to make an offer? How soon did you want me to make you a written offer? Or actually, skip a step. You would ask, whose name is on the deed?
Mm-hmm.
So now by the time you get to your fourth or fifth phone call, you're saying, hello, can I talk to you about your house for sale? How much are you asking? Whose name is on the deed? And when did you want to get a written offer by? That could take you 4 or 5 phone calls just to confront that.
But that first half is pretty easy now. So you're competent at the little minutia getting going. Mm-hmm. And the more competent you are, the better you are at listening and understanding what's happening, so you can do a better job.
And by putting the name on the board on the wall, you'll feel good about yourself. You'll know that it was a win. You'll pay attention to what happened behind you. You'll know that your future is filling up the 100 boxes. That's the horizon. But you can always look at it and say, this week I made 6 phone calls. I feel better. I feel like I'm now doing creative real estate. And I figured out that I'm not efficient at blah. That's what I need to learn. That's what I need to search online for. That's the YouTube video I got to watch. That's what I got to ask Bill about.
Yeah.
Because your efficiency will want to naturally increase every phone call so you can get a deal. I have trained a lot of salespeople. I have trained salespeople that run 40 to 60% closing ratios. I myself am one of those people in industry. And I will tell you that what makes a person close 40 to 60% of their sales is one thing and only one thing, nothing else. Because I got to tell you, I've trained some idiots. I've trained some people that barely that have slang so bad, worse than me. New Yorkers that are hard to understand, right? Because they just don't have good oration skills.
Yeah.
And he was a 60% closer, right? What makes these people close 60% is the pre-qualification stages. Is this someone I should continue with or not? So in the first 5 minutes, they pre-qualify them on whether they should stay on the phone with them. Are they worthy of my services? Are they worthy of talking to me? Are they flexible enough to hear my statements or my math? And as you go through these 100 phone calls, this is where your competency is going to be on how efficient, this is where your efficiency is going to come from in your competency. And how quick can I pre-qualify this person on whether or not they're one of my sellers or not? And that alone will save you time and will give you energy to propel forward, because you'll know that I need to make 2 phone calls. It's going to take me, unless I find somebody. And then, because think about it, Peter, if you have no time in the world and you got 15 kids and 3 jobs and 14 wives and 16 houses, right? If you talk to somebody and they would be willing to give you 5, 10, 15, 20 grand, would that be wasted time to you?
No, because you've been working hard to get all the crap you already have. You might as well do something to lean it up.
So it will work into a productive, unique time for you. Mm-hmm. That's your wealth. That's your bucket of wealth right there. Because all you're doing is looking for that person, and you've been looking for that person for decades, probably. Right? So this is the last thing I want to say, and then we're going to bug out of here because we're 7 minutes past the hour. This is where I want you to understand that competency, mastery, and virtuosity is quantity, quality, and viability. So right now in the beginning, you're just looking for quantity. You're not looking for quality. You're not looking for good buyers. You're not looking for any of that stuff. That's too steep of a gradient. Right now, you need to confront talking to somebody and confront what you're going to say and confront your efficiency on that call. So it's just quantity. So it's just a numbers game. Get your 100 boxes filled. Don't think about anything else. The rest of it will come naturally because you're going to want to get more and more efficient, and you're going to naturally sneak into the mastery, and then you're going to keep going, and then sooner or later you're going to get into that virtuosity point just by repetition, just by doing it over and over again, and keep getting more and more efficient. And you'll just sneak into those categories. You'll wake up one day and look back and say, wow, I'm a master. I hit that level, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's my podcast. I
like it.
I hope I intrigued you. I told you that I was not going to do regular time management. I hope that this helped people. The trick is how serious about creative real estate are you? And my final statement is, will you go to the office store and buy the cardboard and put it on the wall, or won't you? That's your first competency level.
Mm-hmm.
Am I competent enough to try to do deals this simplistic way?
Mm-hmm.
Am I competent enough in myself that I could make a phone call and I could do what Bill is saying right now? And if you can't get past that step and you can't seem to even get to the office store, then I hope I'm entertaining you on my podcast, because that's all I'm doing is entertaining you. I'm not doing anything else. You actually have a hobby that's only in your head. It's very rude to say, and I got reprimanded one time for saying this from actually somebody that I work for, because I've only worked for somebody for 6 years. I was a salesperson in my 40 years, I only worked for somebody for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I consulted automotive repair shops. And my senior was a woman, and she reprimanded me and said I couldn't say this anymore. But if you are not even going to go get the cardboard and put it on your wall, it's all mental masturbation yourself. You're playing. You're playing with yourself in your own mind. And you should recognize that and then deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my take. So that's my tough love for today. Please make sure you subscribe to us, you like us. If you want to leave us a review and you want to send it to if you want to send it to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com, I will definitely appreciate that and compensate you for your time. And we're done with podcast number 451, and we will move on to the next one at 4:52 next Thursday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for all of your dedication and listening, and I hope you flourish and prosper, because that's what I want. Over and out.
This has been Flipping Houses for Rookies. The American Dream. What is it? It's called financial freedom, and with real estate, you'll have it. Without the banks, without the bigwigs, and without the realtors' nonsense. Bill and Pete are two real estate investors with 30 years plus of experience, hundreds of deals under their belts, and a mission to change the way you think about creative real estate. Do be sure to like, rate, and review the show. And after that, hit up our YouTube channel at Flipping Houses for Rookies /streams. We'll be back soon, and see you then on Flipping Houses for Rookies.